For the last days in the church, for those who were attending the daily Mass, it was quite striking that the Gospel readings, which we are hearing every Mass on the weekday basis, are rather harsh, and that the Lord Jesus is rebuking the scribes, the Pharisees, and the teachers of the Old Testament law for being and living in hypocrisy. That hypocrisy was based on a bad attitude of theirs, namely that they were telling people what to do and yet not keeping the commandments of God first in their hearts. It applies very much to us as well, because when we begin September with this Sunday, the 1st of September, it is, by the way, somehow a new opening for all of us, children coming back to schools, etc. It is quite striking that after this whole week of listening to Jesus' rebuking those who falsely live the religious life, finally we are getting that big lesson in the Gospel as well as in the Old Testament from the book of Deuteronomy, when Moses gave and asked the people whether they are ready to observe the law of God or not. That this question is put in front of you and me as well. That we are also challenged by this question: do you want to obey the law of God? Of course, we all want to do it, yet sometimes we fail to do it. That's very natural because we are human beings and we are not perfect. We are not perfect. Yet sometimes, looking around us in the world out there, it seems as if we are perfect. We don't have any problems with ourselves. A very particular example of that comes to my mind when we are thinking about today's Gospel, about Jesus talking about what comes in the human heart and what comes out of the human heart. In some areas of life, even in the religious, Christian and Catholic perspective, we are so focused nowadays on what comes in our lives and hearts that we forget, I believe, what comes out of us. Especially it comes very clear and obvious in the example of the ecology. Ecology, which is very important. The well-being of the created world is something crucial. God gave us that task of being responsible for the world, for nature, for creation. But sometimes it seems as if that's the only problem which we have nowadays in the church and in our Christian concern. Whereas the same, if not more important, is what comes out of our hearts, mouths, towards God, towards other people, towards ourselves. When we are therefore thinking about the new beginning on the 1st of September, I invite myself and I invite you to reconsider whether the ecology, which is a big word nowadays, translates also to the ecology of our hearts. It is important what comes in and what we give to the world in the sense of protection and well-being and preservation and helping the poor. It's all very important and crucial, but it's not more important than keeping the commandments of the Lord, than living the moral and good standing life, than remembering the commandments of the Lord and asking my heart whether I am living those or not. And that is the same challenging, I tell you, as if protection of the created world. The commandments of the Lord are never changing, and if taken seriously enough, they are life-giving. So my prayer and wish for myself and for you is that when we are considering our obedience to the Lord, we also consider in this coming week, and perhaps even this coming month, our attitude towards the commandments of the Lord, our upkeeping them in our Christian lives. And perhaps as well, the time comes when we can also think about our confession time, our sacramental reconciliation with the Lord, which is not anything to be afraid of, but it's a time of purification and purifying my intentions in serving the Lord and loving the neighbor.